Hi guys, and welcome back to the 25th episode of Mindless Podcast. Today we're going to be reviewing conspiracy theories that we found on the internet and just generally know about. So, just to give a heads up, we didn't do any research into it. We just sort of kind of were like, okay, that's conspiracy theory, and we put it in. So none of the stuff we're going to be saying is factual. So don't take it the wrong way, please. Okay, great. And now let's do the riddle with Eva.
I love how you said reviewing conspiracy theories. Like this is like the moon landing is fake. 5 stars on Yelp. Like
We're just sort of kind of going over them, not reviewing as in giving it a point kind of point system kind of thing, but we're just like, oh, does that make
3
sense?
out of 10 on the paranoid scale.
Oh yeah.
A doctor and a bus driver are both in love with the same woman, an attractive girl named Sarah. The bus driver had to go on a long bus trip that would last a week. Before he left, he gave Sarah 7 apples. Why?
Because an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
I was just
How'd you get
that.
it? Oh my god.
I was just
I didn't even hear the first part. I didn't hear the doctor part. I just 7 apples, 7 days.
Yeah, so that's what my brain was like, all right, why 7 apples? And I was like, oh, because there's 7 days in a week, so it's an apple a day. And if you hear an apple a day, what is the next thing your brain thinks of?
Brain cell?
I think it is. Wow.
How are we?
That's not good because I would whenever I find riddles, I'm skimming them to make sure they're not super long and they don't sound super stupid. But I was just before he left, I gave her 7 apples. Why? I'm like, is Sarah a horse? The frick? And then I show answer and it's like, no, she's not a horse. No, but then I'm like, an attractive girl. I'm like, are they both attracted to a horse? I was like,
that's
very confused.
That's a little bit disturbing.
That's where your brain goes. You're like, oh yes.
I was like, why are you giving Sarah apples? I was like,
humans don't eat apples.
I don't know.
Do you want another one?
Or are we gonna move another one?
I'm on a site, so I have a bunch.
Go for it.
What flowers are kissable?
All of them if you're not. Don't keep that in.
So that's how
we can't put that in.
There's probably I mean, you could be like Baby Bell. Baby Bell is a type of cheese. I think it's a type of flower too. There's so many different flower names.
How did you guys get that one, but you can't get this one? I don't understand how our brain cell works.
Wait, is it is the name of the flower a common name for a person?
No.
Is it a well-known flower name?
Yes, you both know what this was. It's not some weird, obscure, super long name.
Oh, what flower names do you know, Melanie? We've got tulips and roses, carnations.
You said it.
Is it? Oh, tulips.
Get it? Oh, ha ha ha! Funny. Okay, we should probably just go on with the episode now. Honestly,
it's fine. This can be.
We should have ended on the high note with the 7 apples thing.
It'll be a little bit scuffed, but it's fine. I mean, we're talking about conspiracy theories, so I don't know what we expected. It's just the energy of this episode today.
So we're gonna make a freaking U-turn and go into the land of the weird and unknown. So the first one we have.
Hey, tulips can be weird and unknown.
I mean, they're sort of kind of weird and unknown because it's not proven, or else it wouldn't be a theory. It would be real. Okay. So the first one on the list that we read was the moon isn't real.
What do they think the moon is?
Huh?
If it's not the moon, then what is the bright?
I know. It's a giant ball of cheese.
Of course.
I feel like you're misrepresenting the conspiracy theory community with this one, but
we don't do actual research into it. I think the moon is a ball of cheese. And you see, here's the thing: if you put 2 pieces of bread on either side, you got yourself the biggest grilled cheese you will ever have.
I'm taking it a step further. I'm saying it's mozzarella cheese. That's why it's white. Am I right?
Okay.
I thought Melanie. American. I just think it's American cheese because Americans got there first. So.
It's our moon. Screw Europe. It's American. We own the moon. That's why we see it.
No, once America staked the flag, all of a sudden, like, it became American cheese.
No, listen, Melanie, but this implies that all cheeses that Americans stake claim to just automatically turn into American cheese.
No, but that's the most American cheese, is American cheese. So naturally, the moon would then take form of American cheese because it's saying, like, yo, Americans got here first. Sorry,
How are we
everyone else.
so, like, patriotic that we took a piece of cheese and we were like, yes, this is American cheese. This is our cheese.
The funniest thing, though, is that it's not even good cheese. Like, American cheese is honestly just crap. It's so bad. It's, like, sad and plastic and, like...
I like do a blend of cheeses, so I can't say for itself, but I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
It's, like, literally, we saw, like, the most sort of, like, saddest artificial plastic cheese we could find, and we were like, this is gonna be the American.
Is that not America?
They knew what they were doing, Heather. They knew.
They knew what they were doing.
Also, we've sort of derailed from it, but I want to circle back to the argument that Melanie made, which was that the moon is cheese because if you put bread around it, it'd be a sandwich.
No, I said
then you just have a cheese and bread
Here's
sandwich.
the reasoning for it, okay? The moon itself was originally just a ball of cheese. There was no specification on what type. But when America put its flag down, all of a sudden, it slowly morphs into American cheese. And that right there in the sky is American cheese.
Well, yes, you've clarified that, but beforehand, when I was like, why is the moon a ball of cheese?
I said it would be the biggest grilled cheese you could have if you have a piece of bread on the top and then a piece of bread on the bottom.
Yes.
There you have it, the biggest grilled cheese in the history of grilled cheese.
But
you said it's cheese because if you put bread on it, like, and I was like,
no, I didn't. Please tell me I didn't.
I mean, if you know.
If I stick out my tongue and I put 2 pieces of bread on it, is my tongue cheese now?
Please tell me I didn't say that for real.
If I were to walk over to your house with the 2 slices of bread and do the idiot sandwich meme, would your head just turn into a bowl of American cheese?
Who says it isn't right now, and I'm not just covering it up? You know, maybe it already is. Maybe that's how I know.
Okay, let's move on to the second one, and I think it is my personal belief that Melanie secretly believes this one. But this, because of her well-known hatred of birds, just her disdain for all members of the avian community.
Not all of them. Penguins are an exception.
All members of the avian community that have the ability of flight, let's say. Birds are government cameras. What is your take on this, Melanie?
I don't think that's true, though. That's the thing. Like, birds are... they are really annoying, so I wouldn't say that cancels the idea that they could be. But, like, birds, in general, I just think the government is too busy to... They have too much stuff on their hands to annoy me with birds on the daily, right? I feel like birds are just naturally annoying. That's not the government being like, hey... This doesn't like birds. Let's go put 2 birds outside and have it squawking at 6 a.m. to wake this idiot up.
So your argument for why birds are not government cameras is solely because the government is too busy to spy on you specifically, not because the inherent ideas of birds as government cameras is unrealistic.
Duh.
Do you think then, like, roosters are just government alarm clocks? Like, they program them, like, 6 a.m. when the sun rises, go for it, just scream, and then they just
go at sunrise, scream, enter.
Mm-hmm. Man, you know, that's my daily
program,
agenda.
Chip in, go up.
Right there. At sunrise. Scream.
So if you guys hear a scream out of nowhere, just know Heather is in your vicinity.
Yeah, I have an alarm clock. I have an alarm set for like 5:20, and every single morning I wake up and I hit the little turn off button and I just screech like I'm being murdered. And then I go back to bed for another 5 hours.
I love it. It's so amazing. Thank you for your service, for making sure adults in our life wake up early to Wake up too early even just to get ready for the day, you know. Give them an extra 3 hours to get ready for their job.
Honestly, though, if I like snoozed it and then I just got up every morning, I just scream like that's the first thing I do. Honestly, that would probably get me out of bed. Not gonna lie.
That would.
And everyone else. Like,
Yeah.
Wait,
my
no,
mom
no,
and dad just like, oh, Eva's awake.
He was like, okay, let's go. No, but I think if I did that, if I tried to go back to sleep after the scream, my mom would come over and scream at me for screaming. So I would be awake because of her.
If you have siblings and you all have them set at the same time, you all just scream in unison. At one
Communal
time.
screaming.
Yeah.
And the new neighbors come along, and then all the other neighbors are like, oh yeah, FYI, at 5:20 a.m. every single day, that house over there, they let out a big screech. Just letting you know. So here are your welcoming headphones for you.
Do you think
I'm a morning bird.
do you think the morning screams are sort of like a dog howl, where all of the youth in the neighborhood just start screaming when they hear the screams? It's just like a communal 5:20 a.m. scream. Anyway, we should move on from government cameras. Although I think this episode should be called like the morning scream or something. Or like communal screeching. It's like a youth group thing, you know. It helps you bond with the youth in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Anyway, now moving on to our next conspiracy theory, Area 51.
That's it.
Just Area 51.
That's it. Area
Okay,
51.
next one
Moving
is-
on. Next one. Moving on.
So next one is
Yeah.
aliens have been on Earth, and governments have been covering it up.
Wait, wasn't there like that thing, like somewhere like halfway through 2020, where the government was just like, yeah, we've seen UFOs. Here are some legal documents, and like there was just so much chaos that like everyone just kind of overlooked
Yeah,
it.
didn't they like
Oh, I remember
release
seeing that
photos on
somewhere,
Twitter or
but I don't
someone
know if
did?
it's
Like there were
accurate
actual
or not.
photos, and we're all like,
Eh,
Well, and to be fair, UFO doesn't necessarily mean aliens,
alien.
Yeah.
right?
It's just
Like
an unidentified flying object.
the
or it could be a frisbee
connotation
thrown
has
in the
been made,
night that no one knows what
Yeah.
it looks like.
but it's not like, man, alien ship. It's like, wow, that's a thing in the sky. We don't know what that thing is,
but
it's in the
alright.
sky,
Mhm.
you know, right? So it could just be like some other country just screwing us over with their planes or something, you know.
Like a weird drone.
Oh yeah,
A
let's
very
just
large
be like,
bird.
no, I imagine some other country being like, oh my goodness, Americans are so fucked up right now. Let's go send this idiot drone over there and see if they do anything about it.
To be
And
fair,
then they do nothing, and they just have a little camera down there, just looking at all these stupid people who are doing like burning down a house, setting fireworks up, and like just doing all this stupid stuff and being like these motherfuckers. Like that's just other countries spying on us and being like these idiots. We
Yeah.
are their reality TV.
we are. Have you seen like did you see like the BBC coverage of like the Capitol riots? Where they're like the ongoing soap opera for the rest of the world.
Do you think, maybe there have been aliens on Halloween? They could come disguised. They could really dress up in one of those inflatable like dinosaur things, and you would never know.
That's true.
We would never know. And you're all like walking in the dark. That if I were an alien and I had to come to Earth, that's when I would do it.
I think that's
Halloween.
the one day of the year that aliens are welcomed then. Free pass.
The one day of the year, the
Free
aliens.
pass to Earth on Halloween, guys.
Woo.
I wonder if there were less aliens coming in this year, like on 2020 because of COVID. Or did they just
Yeah,
welcome
like,
it
we're
all
not
and be
getting
like
sick
that
from that.
planet
Like,
is screwed, we
man,
are done visiting
Man,
them."
the humans are just nasty right now. We don't want to catch that.
So, last one on the list. This life is a simulation. Eva, start it off.
Wait, sorry.
Oh,
I feel like we should start with a disclaimer here, because derealization I think is a big issue for people who have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is all a joke.
That,
Where we're
if
just
that sort of thing is bugs you or is uncomfortable for you, then I'd recommend skipping this part. This will just be the last part of the episode. We
Or
promise
just back next week if you're not down for this.
we
'cause
promise
I totally
that
understand.
you are real and you have control over your life. We are not living in a simulation. We are, your choices matter, your thoughts matter and are real, and the stuff around you is real. Don't worry. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's my PSA, I suppose.
Okay. So, how do we want to start it off?
I don't know how to start off.
I don't
Man,
know what to do.
we really be living in a Matrix world, don't we?
Okay.
About to become Neo.
So, my opinion on it is, like, am I a part of a simulation for someone else? Like, only that person is awake? Or am I the person that's awake and you all are trying to trick me into being like, you are alive, you are doing well, and really all of you guys are just coded. And I'm just happen to be the one that's awake. Like, if someone was awake out of the 7 billion people in the world, who would it be?
I don't know. That's the thing, right? Because there's sort of two different ways to look at the life as a simulation thing. One way is that, perhaps a tad narcissistic, right? Is that life is a simulation, and, well, not necessarily, though. Like, kind of, but I guess the people, it doesn't, I mean, it sounds narcissistic, but I don't think it stems from that, because it's not a pleasant thought, you know? It's not like, man, I'm the greatest because I exist. It's like,
the world literally revolves around.
It's more like, what if the things around me aren't real, which is much more like terrifying and not narcissistic at all, right? But there's sort of two ways to perceive this. There's one which is, I'm real, supposedly, but everything around me is fake, and how do I deal with that? And the other one is, I'm not real. I'm just fake, being used for maybe one person who is real, or maybe nothing here is real. Maybe this is just like, maybe this is all just a simulation for some, like, alien overlords or whatever, right? In which case, I'm not real and neither is anything else around me. And then how do you deal with the fact that, wait a minute, if I'm just lines of code, what does that mean? Like, how is that? What am I human? What is the definition of being human if all humans aren't even human, right? Like, where is that line?
At the end of the day, all of our lives are just so complex that there's no possible way to code that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, not with what we have, but theoretically, with strong enough technology, you could. AI is a powerful thing.
Much work. Who the heck would want to open up a simulation just to torture this one person?
I don't think
setting up stuff in their life.
When I think of the conspiracy theory, the world is a simulation, I don't think of it as an entire thing built around one person on the Earth who's real. I think of it more as, so there's this Doctor Who episode, right? And I don't remember that much about it. But it's like, the doctor finds out that, like, the entire like Earth with all the human race on it is a very elaborate like behavioral simulation for, like, that a bunch of aliens are conducting for, I can't really remember the specific reason why, right? So it wasn't like it was all revolved around one person on Earth who was real. The entire thing was like a simulation that was being run as sort of like a hypothetical. Like, what would this situation look like if it was a thing? And the way people found out is that they were told there was a bug. Like, it was a perfect simulation, but there was a glitch. There was a small bug, which is, if you were, I think it had to do with the difficulty computers have with generating consistently random strings of numbers, or something like that, right? Some computer science mumbo jumbo that I do not know very much about. But it was, if you were asked to give a random string of any numbers, just whatever, just say random numbers off the top of your head, every single person would say the exact same string of numbers, because that was where the break in the simulation was, and that's how they all found out. And then it was sort of like, I mean, it was kind of a dark episode, right? Because everyone was like,
scared of those things. I can't watch those.
Because, yeah, I can stop talking about it if you want.
No, it's fine. When you talk about it, it's fine, but if I watched it, I'll just...
But it was like, everyone was like, as people started to realize they were in the simulation, they started, like, taking their own lives. Like, the lives of, they weren't, well, yeah, because they were like, I'm not real, right? And so then the doctor and his companions had to figure out, like, wait a minute, why is everyone, like, why are all these catastrophes happening? And then they realized that it was human-made catastrophes, because the humans were all like, nothing is real. We should just blow it. Like, we aren't real. I think
and
there's
just, like,
some
do a bunch of
scientists
crazy
with a
stuff.
bunch of nukes who had figured this out, and they were like, goodness. So then the doctor and the doctor is going around trying to be like, why is this happening? Why is everyone, like, they knew it had something to do with, like, this list of numbers or something, but he didn't really understand it. And so they were trying to, they were like, why is this happening, right? Like, why are people just randomly, like, it's like the one key thing across all of the events that happened is that the people involved had completely lost faith in, like, humanity. They'd given up. There was like, so it was like, what is it about this string of numbers that makes people give up hope that completely? Like, what is it? And at the end, it's revealed that they're all in a simulation. And then the doctor does some big sort of, like, you know, thing, and then it reverts back to, like, not being in a simulation. I don't know. It's just been many years since I watched this episode. I don't really remember the fine details. But
that one time that we had to watch the Twilight Zone in English, that spooked me. Oh my goodness.
The Twilight Zone is much creepier than Doctor Who. Doctor Who, like, the storyline sounds real dark. I guess it kind of is, but Doctor Who is definitely sort of like a sci-fi fantasy show, sort of aims to be lighter. The Twilight Zone is supposed to be creepy, right? And some of the good episodes of Doctor Who are really creepy. I really like the Empty Child double. It's brilliant. Can I summarize it briefly? Because I was just about to, then I realized that was a tangent.
How long have we been going?
42 minutes. Well, that's how long we've been in the call. I don't know how long Isabel's been recording. Probably, like, a little under 40.
Either way works, I think.
Okay.
I just want to circle back to the original after.
Yeah.
But the Empty Child, it's a double, right? And it's with the Ninth Doctor, Great Doctor. I mean, they're all pretty good, right? It's one of the best 9 episodes. But it's set during, I can't remember if it's the First or the Second World War. One of the World Wars, right? And it's set somewhere in Britain during one of the World Wars, so people are all getting, like, bombed and stuff. Yeah. And so, yes, obviously the second one, I'm dumb.
Yeah,
right?
I know what you're saying.
Wow, my history teacher must be so damn proud of me for getting that.
Man, we're in the same history class.
No, I mean, in the previous year, because we didn't learn about it yet in this one.
Yeah. But, there was this child with a gas mask on their face, who kept going around, and all of the people, like, there was this young, well, she wasn't young, she was, like, an adult, but she was, like, a young adult, like, maybe a late teens young adult. She was young, who she sort of took in and fed a lot of the sort of more sort of homeless children around, and, like, tried to keep them safe from the bombs or whatever, but they wouldn't ever let this child in. Like, they would run away from it and they wouldn't let it in. And it had a gas mask, but it wasn't, like, on its face. It looked like it was on its face, but when we looked closer, the gas mask was actually like melded to the child's face. And the only thing the child would say was "mummy," and anyone the child touched also got the welded gas mask face.
Okay, yeah, kick it out. Kick it out.
So
nope, kick it out.
it was. I didn't find it that creepy. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't too bad. My sibling Charlie hated it. I mean, they liked the episode. They thought it was creepy as. I mean, it is, and the concept sounds really creepy. But the thing about Doctor Who is that it's less creepy when you actually watch it. Like, the concepts all sound really dark and creepy, but it isn't quite as much. Anyway, so especially, I also think it's less creepy because of the way it ends. So the doctor was, like, trying to figure out why this was happening. Like, he couldn't figure it out. Why was, like, the gas mask melting to the face? Why did it transfer like that? You know what it was? Why was it saying "mummy"? Why was it, like, calling for its mom? And it kept on, like, following the woman around, right? It kept on trying to get into wherever she was, which is why she kept on having problems with it. And eventually he found, like, this old like, broken like, container, like, this alien container that was broken, and he found out that inside of it was residue for a bunch of really, really highly advanced, like, medical, like, teeny tiny little, like, alien medical droids that are, like, super advanced, really good at, like, human reconstruction, right? Not human reconstruction, just general reconstruction. They're sort of like regeneration particles, right? Think of it like that, right? And what had happened is that this had come from, like, some alien ship or whatever, and it had crashed and broken, and out came this, like, bunch of little tiny regeneration droids, these little healing droids, who were, like, looking for someone to heal, looking for someone to, because that's their job, right? They heal creatures, and they stumbled upon this boy who had been he had been stuck outside. He got not left behind, but he got sort of stuck outside when there was a bombing happened. So he had been hit by a bomb, and the gas mask he was wearing had melted to his face. And the little alien droids thought that's just how humans were. Like, they didn't know. They had never seen humans before. They were just like, this is how they're supposed to be, right? So every time the guy touched the little boy touched someone else, or anyone with the mask touched someone else, the droids, like, not the droids, the little particles moved on, and they saw this new person. They were like, wait a minute, this person is wrong. Like, that's not how the person that we saw was. So then they would try and fix it, right? Which is what, like, the whole mask thing was. And then the young woman, the teenager, the young woman who the child had been following around, the doctor was figured out, wait a minute, she was the mother of the child. Like, she said she was his sister, like his guardian, but she was actually his mother. But she didn't want to say because she was, like, really young when she had him, and she was, like, sort of embarrassed about it. Which is why he had been following her around, calling for Mummy, and all of the other ones too, because that's what the droids thought people were. So then the doctor had the mother give the baby a hug. The baby he's like a 7-year-old, right? And then suddenly all the little regeneration particles were like, wait, because they recognized the familial between the mother and the child. They're like, wait a minute, we were wrong. That's not how humans are supposed to be. That's how humans are supposed to be. So they went back and they reverted all of the gas mask people because they figured it out. They were like, oh, that's what humans are like.
So confusing.
Oh, well, I liked it. I thought I liked it because it was like, it's like this whole big creepy thing, and like it's like this double episode too. So it's like it's like an hour and a half. It's 2 45-minute episodes, and then at the end you realize it's like there was no malice. Like, there was no like malice. There wasn't some evil force trying to do anything bad. It was just a bunch of really confused, like, it was a bunch of just really confused little alien particles that were trying their best to help, and they just didn't know what humans looked like. And then at the end, the doctor has this line that's like, just this once, everybody lives. Because that doesn't usually happen in Doctor Who episodes. Usually at least one person dies. And so it's like this great contrast, which is one of the reasons it's such a great double. Because it's like the rest of it was, like, dark and creepy and sad. But then it had such, like, an optimistic ending. Anyway, there's that on that.
So, do we circle back to the original conspiracy and then end the episode?
Sure.
Okay. So, if life was like a simulation, like, and you found out, like, what would you do about it?
I guess just kind of continue, because I was gonna say, like, oh, if it's a simulation, go do some stuff, but then, like, you still die, because, like, it's basically how everything still works. It's just, it's a simulation, but it still functions the same. So if I, like, fall down, it's still gonna hurt, and it's gonna bleed. So I guess just continue on life.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't change anything, because there's still, like, all these the world would rise up, and it'd be crazy. Like, can you imagine if that got out to social media? And then what would happen to the world? Like, personally, I just continue, but I feel like world would be so much more different.
You wouldn't tell anyone? You would just live with the secret?
Oh, I thought, like, everyone knew, kind of thing.
Oh, I thought this was you specifically found out, just you. I don't know. If the world found out, I feel like that'd be a very different situation.
If the world
yeah,
found out,
that'd
there's
be
too many
crazy.
stupid, selfish people out there who would like ruin it for everyone else, even though it's a simulation.
I think what I would do, after having a handful of existential crises, because, yeah, right? If I managed to get over those, fine. I would be like, all right, let's see how much I can screw with this, right? I would take what I know and however I found out about the simulation, whether someone told me, in which case I would talk with them more, or if it was like, I don't know, however, whatever methods I used to find out about the world being a simulation, I would try and explore that more. I try and sort of push the limits of like, all right, what is the simulation? How much does it represent sort of like whatever real life is supposed to be? And can I change it? Right? Because it's
Can
like,
you manipulate it to make your life that much better?
As Eva said, she wouldn't just like go, she wouldn't just like fall down because it would hurt, right? Because like that's how the simulation is wired. So just because you know it's a simulation doesn't mean it's wired any differently, right? Which is very insightful of her. So what I would try and do is I'm like, all right, but can I wire this differently? Can I make this? If I know about this, can I do something with this? Can I figure out? Can I poke at the code and make it so that something changed, right? Because this is like, I wouldn't necessarily like do it so like for my own like benefit or riches or whatever. I would honestly, and this is probably a poor
Heather
trait of
brings
mine.
back the dinosaurs.
It's probably a poor trait of mine. But I would do it out of curiosity. I'd be like, what can I change something? What can I change?
But
like,
what if you screw up life for everyone else on the way?
I know that's the thing is that I might accidentally do that, right?
Bring back the dinosaurs. I'm scared.
I'm like,
Heather will bring back the dinosaurs.
So this is.
I swear to God, if you bring back dinosaurs, like, have you not learned anything from Jurassic Park?
Well, I wouldn't purposely try to bring back. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be like messing with like animals and time and stuff. It'd probably be more like physics. I'm like,
is How to Train Your Dragon a future thing or a past thing?
I mean, it's set. I think it's a past thing. I mean, dragons didn't actually exist. You know, the whole idea of dragons came from dinosaur bones. That's why dragons look so much like dinosaurs. They saw a bunch of dinosaur fossils and they're like, what is this? We don't know, right? And so they made something up, and that was dragons. Anyway, that's fun. And it turns out dinosaurs may have been like super feathery, so who knows?
Maybe Vikings make a comeback.
Vikings are gonna return. They're gonna make a comeback fashion. Oh my God,
I can't wait for the Viking comeback.
Oh my God, yeah. The bucket hats go out and the Viking horns come in.
I mean, would we be at the top of the world because technically our high school is Vikings?
I feel like the actual people of Nordic descent would be on the top of the world, but you know.
Why is it okay?
Let's ignore that. No, mascots reign supreme.
Oof.
No, but if I found out life was a simulation, I think I'd go insane. Like, I wouldn't do anything. Because I'd be like...
Oh, yeah, I'm an overthinker. I'd just be in bed like, wait, does that mean all this time, like, when we went to go get ice cream, was that not real?
Like, I would be literally so sad, because if you fall in love with someone, you'd be like, this is just coded. Like, who knows if you actually love them? And I'd go into several existential crises every day until I genuinely go insane. Like, that's just the end for me, if I found out.
I think I'd lose motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to start with, right?
Like, I don't have the motivation to be like, to like try to work around it or work with it. I just feel like, my life.
I think that's the thing is that I think that's a really big hurdle to get over. That sort of shows I guess the content of people's. No, that's not right. Not the content. But it sort of shows.
Yeah, it does. It shows the views, cause like Heather was more optimistic. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to like play with it and see what it can do." I'm more like, I'd probably get depressed.
Well, no, I mean like in reality, I don't know if I'd be able to. I might be stuck. I don't know if I'd be able to get over it. Right? I'd probably be stuck with Melanie.
Able to. Like my mind.
I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but also like it's so hard for me to tell. I might, but I also might just not. Right? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, so if I didn't just spiral into insanity, like Melanie, it's like, I think that'd be the one thing that'd pull me out, right? And that's sort of why I would be so curious and also so reckless, right? Like I think I would go a little bit insane. It's just sort of whether I go insane enough to
Unless
stop
someone
functioning.
else was also like me and also was living in a simulation. And then we can have a book-like story of figuring it out. Because if everyone else was just coding, then that'd be an issue. But if there were some people that weren't, then I feel like it'd be okay.
Oh, my thought of like a simulation is like we're all simulation. Like
Yeah,
we're
me
all
too.
just pieces of code, including me. Like
Mhm.
everything
I know,
is
if
just
it was me, myself, too, then I feel like no, I'd still go insane. The only way I wouldn't go insane was if I wasn't coded.
But then again, it's like then you're all in the same boat. Like that person's
exactly.
coded,
So I feel like
I'm
it's better
coded,
when
we're all
it's one
coded.
situation to relate to.
I know. I feel like the thing is I feel like I would go insane, and that's why I would try and just screw with things. Right?
No,
Because
I would
regular
go insane
rational
and
me,
just be on the couch watching Netflix all day until I like wither away in insanity.
regular rational honestly,
That's so
dude.
dark, but I already know it because I'm just picturing it. I'm like, I can't picture myself being like an adventurer in the world because of that.
Regular rational me would probably that's
Yeah,
grim, but
even
true.
without a simulation, a lot of stuff is out of our control. But like, at least I feel like I have some sense of it. Where I know if someone talks to me, it's because they most likely want to talk with me, not because they're coded to talk with me at exactly 12:04 p.m. or whatever.
I feel like normal rational me wouldn't do anything about it. Like normal rational me would have a couple breakdowns and then probably live like Melanie and wither away. Like just watch YouTube till I become dust, right?
Honestly,
But I think what I think is that I think the various exits. I think it would drive me a little bit insane, which is why I would be like, let's screw with things, because I would not care about the consequences anymore, right? Like I'd be like, well, if it's like it would just taint my character, and I would lose like half of my empathy. I'd be like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's let's see how much I can f this up before I,
wither away.
become not here anymore. I don't know how code gets destroyed, right?
My brain just spiraled down that like, is it a butterfly effect? Is it fate, or is it supposed to happen, or like are there even choices? But I don't know if I want to explain my thought process on that because that's kind of
we could go insane together.
Woo.
Because Melanie was like, well, I don't want them to feel like programmed to like text me at 12:04. But then I'm like,
Because
frick, I lost my process. I lost my train of thought. But then like but then that's like fate. That's like if we weren't in a simulation, like that's just what's supposed to happen, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like not even coding. That's just how your life
Now
goes, or whatever.
now
How
we're
things
just dipping
turn
into
out.
moral dilemmas. This started out with conspiracy theories.
Let's end it here. Let's end
Yeah,
it
we
here.
can't. I'm not gonna. No, yeah.
We need to go about the rest of our days, hopefully not
Yeah, not
spiraling into
overthinking
insanity.
life.
So if we have an episode 26, just know we did not go insane, or at least not completely. So yay! Make sure to check back next week for possibly a brand new episode if we make it out of this. Unless we find out we're all part of a simulation. In that case, we're gonna have a delay in the episodes. But yeah, thank you for lasting this long through our conspiracy theories. Not our conspiracy theories, but like our analysis of them. And yeah.
Bye.
Bye.